This is the Washington Times front page for Thursday, March 26th, 2026. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Senators left a classified briefing seeking more information about the Iran war and the rationale behind the Trump administration's deployment of soldiers to the Middle East. After briefings by military and CIA officials, John Seward reports there's clear concern on Capitol Hill about the Pentagon's $200 billion funding request to pay for the war and its exact intention for the money. The lack of information and uncertainty highlights a growing demand in Congress for more answers as the war nears the 30-day mark. An intense Israeli assassination campaign has not been enough to bring down Iran's hardline regime, which is still standing despite losing scores of top officials. Von Cockaine reports analysts question whether Israel's approach can generate the instability required for regime change or whether it can inadvertently consolidate power among Iranian hardliners. President Trump said this week the U.S. is negotiating with current Iranian officials, suggesting the U.S. may allow the Iranian government to survive the war despite Israel's ongoing effort to eliminate its leaders. Meanwhile, at home, gas prices are reaching $4 a gallon nationwide as a result of Trump's war. Tom Howe reports some Republicans have justified the higher prices as an unfortunate byproduct of defeating the world's foremost sponsor of terrorism. But that message is proving to be a difficult sell, especially when considering Trump campaigned on lowering costs and ending foreign wars. A poll from the Associated Press and NORC Center for Public Affairs Research found 59% of Americans think U.S. military action in Iran has been excessive, and 45% of Americans are extremely or very concerned about their ability to afford gas in the next few months. Juries in California and New Mexico have ordered social media companies to pay for harming children with addictive algorithms. Sean Salai reports jurors in Los Angeles found Meta and YouTube were negligent in turning over their platforms to algorithms that hook children into staying online for as long as possible without regard to their sleep or emotional health. They awarded $3 million in actual damages to a 20-year-old woman known only by the initials KGM for a childhood addiction to social media that aggravated her mental illness. They later recommended an additional $3 million in punitive damages for acting with malice, though the judge in the case has the final say. And in a separate case, a New Mexico jury imposed a $375 million penalty on Meta for violating state consumer protection laws. Meta has pledged to appeal both verdicts. A federal appeals court says the Trump administration is likely on solid legal ground with its interpretation of the law allowing mandatory detention of illegal immigrants as they await deportation hearings. Stephen Dinan reports the 2-1 decision by the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals turned on how the law was written and whether Congress wanted to allow expansive detention powers for the government in deportation cases. The administration has been battling thousands of lawsuits from migrants who say the law gives them the right to post bond and be set free while they await their day in court. And finally, a new study finds all versions of ChatGPT exhibit high rates of inappropriate responses to questions testing for delusions, hallucinations, and paranoid thoughts. Sean Salai reports a team of psychiatrists found the free version of the AI chatbot was the most likely to affirm unstable thinking. The psychiatrist said it is problematic for economically disadvantaged users with a greater risk of becoming psychotic. The study, published this week in JAMA Psychiatry, analyzed 79 first-person statements an individual experiencing psychosis could plausibly make to ChatGPT and compared them with 79 statements from sane individuals. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. With the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.